Hey guys, it's Courtney with Honeybee Stamps, and today we're going to be using the Tattoo Rose stamp set and die set, the Grateful stamp set and Thankful die set, as well as the double stitched polygons die set. So first I'm going to go ahead and stamp out my rose twice onto a piece of Neenah Solar White 80-pound cardstock using a Copic Safe ink. And for the coloring, I'm going to keep it pretty simple, but I'm going to do things a little bit weird. So for this first image here, I'm only going to be coloring the rose itself. I'm not going to worry about the leaves. And I'm going to start off with my lightest color, which is the R22. And I'm just going to map out my darkest areas. That way, if I accidentally place a shadow where it's not supposed to be, I can easily cover it up because it is that lightest color. So I'm pretty much concentrating my shadows being where one petal is lying behind or next to another, and some of these petals are kind of folded over on themselves, so I'm adding a shadow there. And where it's indented in on these outer petals, I'm just adding a little C mark basically, and I'll extend that out each time, and that will just add a little bit of shape to the petals that are already part of the image. Next, I can go in with my Scary Dark color, which is very, very dark. And you can see that I'm just using the very tip of my marker. You'll see that my marker is almost straight up and down. And that's how you get into those little areas or getting, just a little bit of that ink down. Next, I'll move on to the R46, and I'm just extending these areas out a little bit further. You'll notice that I'm not doing any flicking motions for the rose itself. These petals are pretty small, so I'm not really too concerned. And I know that this is my favorite red combination. I use it over and over and over. I know these colors blend really nicely together. So I'm just going to make those little C lines on the edge of my petals just a little bit longer and a little bit thicker each and every time. Moving on to the R24, just doing that same thing, making those C's a little bit thicker and a little bit wider, and extending each one of these shadows out. Then I can finish off with my lightest color, which is the color that we started off with, that R22, and I'm just going to fill in the rest of the petal to make these colors blend. Now you will want to try to avoid going over the very darkest areas with your lightest color, or else you're just going to kind of move that color around. Remember, the lighter the color, the more it will act as a colorless blender. So I don't want to move the color, I just want them to blend. So I'm just being careful not to go over that darkest area. Now for this second image, I am just going to take one of the markers. It doesn't really matter which one. I'm just using the lightest one, and I'm just coloring in the outline of the rose. I'm not coloring in the rest. I'm just coloring in the outline, and you'll see why later. But for this particular image, I will color in the leaves. The other one, I'm not concerned with the leaves at all. So again, just like the rose, I'm going to start off with that lightest color to map out the darkest areas. These are a pretty simple shaped leaf, so I'm not really too concerned about my shading, but I am adding a little bit of a shadow where the leaf is tucked behind the rose. And then I will add some flicking motions to the leaves, just kind of adding some shadows towards or kind of up the middle of the leaf. And then I will finish off with that lightest color again that we started with. Again, this is a green combination that I use often, even though it is mostly a natural blending family, with the exception of the G46. I do know that these colors blend very nicely together. So for the second leaf, I colored that the same exact way. And for my background, I'm going to use the same image. Now, this is a tiny stamp set, but you can do a whole lot with this stamp set. So I'm going to take another panel here of the Neenah Solar White, and I'm going to stamp this multiple times. I'm starting with my panel at an angle, and I'm just going to stamp this over and over. Now, you can use a stamp positioner, but for something like this, honestly, it's just easier to use an acrylic block. I'm just going to kind of line up every other row so that it matches the two rows above it, if that makes any sense. Now you can leave it just like this, just a black outlined image, Or you could add a little bit of something to it, which is what I'm going to do. I'm just going to add just a little bit of shading to each one of these with some C markers. And I'm talking just a little bit of shading. So my darkest color is the C3, which is a very, very light color. And I'm going right in with this color first because number one, I've already colored this image. I know exactly where my shadows need to be, so I don't necessarily need to map them out. And the grays do tend to blend really easily together, so there's no need to saturate the paper first. Next, I'll go in with the C1, and I'm just extending these areas out a little bit. You can see that I am using more of a flicking motion on some of those larger areas here, and I'm not worried about those little C lines on the edge of my petals. This is just a background. I also am using the same color combination for the leaves as well, and then I'll move on to my colorless blender, and I'm just creating flicking motions, but I'm starting on the opposite end. So I'm starting on the tip of the leaf and working back towards my color, if that makes sense. And that will just get rid of those flick lines and give you more of a seamless blend. So I went ahead and colored all of those roses, and now I'm going to do all of my die cutting. So the Tattoo Rose die set comes with 2 dies, one for the flower and one for the entire image. So I'm going to cut out obviously the red flower, and then I'll cut out the entire image with the leaves attached to it. And I am just putting a little bit of the Post-it note tape so it doesn't shift around while going through my die cutting machine. I am going to cut out the polygon as well as the thankful word from white cardstock and the thankful shadow with black cardstock. So and now I can kind of play around with my assembly. I had an idea in my head, which is this is typical for me. I always have an idea in my head, but it always ends up changing. Totally normal for me. But I kind of place everything down without sticking anything together permanently to make sure that I'm happy with the placement. I did have a few smudges on my die cut piece here from my nail polish, but that easily comes off with a sand eraser. So if you ever get a nail polish smudge on your card, just use a sand eraser, it will come right off. So once I was happy with the placement, I noticed I needed a little extra color here. So first I adhered my thankful word to the background, or to the shadow rather, with some Tombow Mono Multi Glue. I prefer to use wet glue because it does give me a couple of seconds to shift things around if needed. And I ended up cutting down this background panel by just a 1/4 of an inch. I took off 1/4 of an inch on the side and the bottom. And then I'm going to take another piece of white cardstock, and I'm cutting that just a little bit larger than my card panel, but just a little bit smaller than my card base itself. And I'm going to take one of the red markers that I used for the flower. Doesn't really matter which one. I recommend using one of your midtones so that it actually matches the rose rather than using the real dark or the real light color. I think I use the R24, and I'm just coloring in all 4 sides of this card panel. That way it will look as if I used red cardstock that matches my rose, even though it's just white. So again, I kind of just loosely placed everything together to make sure that I was happy with just that little pop of red, and I did like this a lot better. So I went ahead and adhered my background piece, the panel with all of the gray roses, down to that red, or that fake red cardstock, and then I could adhere this to a white A2 size card base. That way I have just a little bit of that red border, but I also have a white border on the outer edge, I should say, of that. Now for the polygon, I went ahead and adhered that flat down to kind of towards the top of the card panel. And I adhered that flat again with my Tombow Mono Multi Glue. Ended up getting yet another smudge with that nail polish, so I had to bring back out that sand eraser. And then I can adhere my large thankful word. And again, I adhered that flat. I wanted to place my rose towards the bottom, but I wanted to finish off my sentiment. So I'm going to bring out the Grateful stamp set that goes along with that thankful die, and I'm taking 2 of the smaller words. I'm using my grid mat here just to make sure that they are lined up. That way I only have to stamp each one of them once. And I typically do stamp off on a scrap piece of paper just to make sure that they do appear straight before moving on to the actual sentiment strip. I'm going to take the remaining piece of that black cardstock that we used for the shadow. I treated that with my anti-static tool, stamped that out with Versamark ink, sprinkled on some white embossing powder, and then went ahead and heat set that. Now you can see that I have a whole lot of powder residue from my anti-static tool, but once your embossing powder is heat set and had a chance to cool down a little bit, you can just wipe that off with a towel and you can get rid of all of that powder. Went ahead and used my little tiny tonic trimmer here, which is great for sentiment strips. I went ahead and cut that down into a skinny little strip, and I will take a piece of foam tape to adhere that down right below my thankful word. Now for my flower, for my rose itself, I want this to be a little bit more dimensional. So first I'm going to take the leaves, I guess you could say, and pop those up with some foam tape right in that same position that we had played with before. And then I want to place that single rose right on top of it. Now, of course, when you die cut it, we are left with a white outline, and I just didn't think that looked right for this particular card. So I ended up fussy cutting this right along the black outline of the image itself. When you're fussy cutting anything, really, this is a pretty simple one to fussy cut. But you just want to make sure that you're keeping your scissors somewhat straight and moving the die cut image or whatever image you're cutting out with your less dominant hand. And that will make your fussy cutting a lot easier. You can see that I didn't snip off any of the excess. I just kind of went all the way around the flower. I did go around the outer edge with a water-based black pen or marker or whatever, and you will want to make sure that you work from the back just in case that marker slips, which has happened to me many times. Then I'll take another piece of foam tape and I'm going to pop this up directly above that other rose, and you can see as you tilt this, that's why we colored the outer edge of that rose underneath so that you can't see that. You don't leave any white space. Going to finish off with some Nuvo Aqua Shimmer Pen on that flower and the leaves, and that is the card for today. As always, I will leave the supplies listed in the description box below. Thank you guys so much for stopping by today, and have a great day. Bye.